Welcome back, coin collectors. At first glance, these Jefferson nickels may look ordinary, but hidden in their smallest details are rare strikes, intriguing varieties, and extraordinary stories. Let's take a closer look. First coin. It is a coin that seems to represent a quiet, almost uneventful return to normalcy. After 5 years of wartime emergency compositions that saw the 5-cent piece made from a silver alloy to save nickel for the war effort, the year 1946 marked the peaceful restoration of the pre-war cupronickel formula. The metal was once again 75% copper and 25% nickel. But as any serious numismatist will tell you, the true value of a coin is rarely found in its metal composition alone. It's found in the history it carries, the subtle nuances of its production, and the relentless pursuit of quality by collectors that turns a common coin into a coveted prize. What sets the 1946 Jefferson nickel apart, and what gives a select few of its number of value far beyond a mere 5 cents, is a story of tiny, almost microscopic details that demand a second look. Later in this narrative, we will uncover the extraordinary sums that authenticated examples of this coin have commanded, and lay bare the precise factors that separate a pocket change find from a certified 4-figure treasure. The year 1946 was a pivotal moment for the United States Mint and for American society at large. The nation was transitioning from a wartime to a peacetime economy. The Jefferson nickel, designed by Felix Schlag and introduced in 1938, had been temporarily altered during the war years from 1942 to 1945. The famous war nickels, identifiable by a large mint mark above Monticello on the reverse, contained silver, manganese, and copper. This change was a vital strategic move, freeing up nickel for the production of armor and armaments. With the war's end, the mint was eager to return to the traditional composition, and 1946 was the first full year of production for the post-war nickel. This return to normalcy involved a massive logistical effort at all 3 active mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The sheer output was staggering, with over 13.5 million struck at San Francisco and a colossal 45 million at Denver. The Philadelphia Mint, which produced the vast majority, did not place a mint mark on its coins. To the untrained eye, these millions of coins are identical, representing a return to stability. However, for the collector, the hunt was just beginning. The design itself, a stoic left-facing profile of the 3rd president on the obverse and his iconic Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse, is a classic of American numismatics. The obverse bears the inscription Liberty and the date, while the reverse features the motto EPLUBUSUNUM and MONTICLLO. The standard weight of 5 grams and a diameter of 21.2 millimeters were maintained, with a plain edge. However, the challenge and the attraction for advanced collectors is not the design, but the quality of the strike. The steps leading up to the portico of Monticello on the reverse are the focal point of intense scrutiny. A coin that exhibits full, sharp, and uninterrupted horizontal lines across the entire structure is designated as having full steps, or FS. This designation is a testament to the pressure and precision of the minting process. It is a design element that was notoriously difficult to strike consistently. A weak strike, often caused by worn dies or insufficient pressure, would result in mushy, indistinct steps, rendering the coin unremarkable to a specialist. Thus, the definition of a common 1946 nickel is immediately split in two: the millions with standard strikes and the elusive minority with that crisp, fully detailed Monticello. This brings us to the heart of the coin's collector value and the concept of scarcity within abundance. While survival estimates for the 1946 S, for example, place the total number of surviving specimens across all grades at around 100,000, the number that achieved the coveted full steps designation is significantly lower. For the 1946 S, PCGS reports that while a high-grade example is desirable, a full-step specimen is a different caliber entirely. The certified population data reveals the true rarity. For many dates in the series, none are even known in full steps above MS65, but the 1946 S is a fascinating exception where a small but significant number of high-grade, full-step examples have survived. This distinction is the primary driver of value. A coin graded at mint state 66 with full steps is not simply a nicely preserved coin. It is a numismatic anomaly, a coin that defied the odds of the production process to emerge nearly perfect. The premium for this quality is substantial, turning what might be a $10 coin into an acquisition that commands the attention of serious collectors. The finest certified examples of these 1946 nickels represent the pinnacle of the hobby, and their auction records reflect their extreme desirability. The PCGS Coinfax data notes that for the Philadelphia issue, an MS66 plus full steps example held a pre-auction estimate that set high expectations, reflecting the coin's status as one of the finest known. Its value was appraised not in the hundreds, but in the thousands of dollars, demonstrating the extreme premium placed on top-tier quality. For the San Francisco issue, the condition census is topped by a single PCGS MS67 full steps specimen, making it a unique piece that would command a significant price far above the typical coin. The very best examples of the 1946D, while produced in larger numbers, are also scarce at the absolute top grade, with less than a few dozen examples known in MS67 with or without full steps, and any surviving in such high condition are prize for the advanced numismatist. These certified prices, while representing the highest echelons, serve as a powerful illustration of the financial potential locked within a single, authenticated specimen. However, to the diligent collector, value can also be found in the imperfections. The 1946 issue is known for several remarkable die varieties that are highly collectible and can command substantial sums. These include a double die obverse variety, FS1010, and a double die reverse, FS801, with the 1946 double die reverse in MS62 recently selling for well over $100, and prices escalating for higher grades into the $400–440 range for MS64 and MS65 specimens. The 1946D is home to an even more fascinating variety, the D over inverted D, FS501, where a repunched mint mark creates a distinct overlapping effect. One of these varieties, graded MS66 full steps by PCGS, was noted as a pop-top rarity, a scarce and desirable coin that appeals to specialists who build complete collections of mint mark errors and repunched varieties. These variations add a thrilling layer of depth to the series, where the hunt is for a specific, documented anomaly rather than just the strike quality. The true, sobering reality for any collector is that a coin's value is never guaranteed without the imprimatur of a professional third-party grading service, like PCGS or NGC. The difference between a raw, uncertified 1946 nickel and a slabbed MS66 FS example is the difference between a dime and a treasure. Without certification, the coin's condition is subjective, its authenticity is questionable, and the potential for the full steps designation is non-existent. The market has spoken definitively on this point. A collector must submit their coin to experts to verify the grade, the strike, and the authenticity of any potential variety. Furthermore, the value is not static. It is a dynamic interplay of supply and demand. For the 1946S, Ron Guth notes that while it is very common overall, the full steps population is far more common than the 1946 DFS, but much less common than the 1946 Philadelphia FS. This relative scarcity directly impacts its valuation. Ultimately, the story of the 1946 Jefferson nickel is a potent lesson in modern numismatics. It's a narrative of a nation rebuilding, a design that became a classic, and the relentless pursuit of perfection by a dedicated community. The coin serves as a compelling reminder that a high mintage number tells only a fraction of the story. The real tale is told by the coin's condition, the sharpness of its strike, and the known population of high-grade certified examples, which drives prices well past the $1,000 mark for top-tier full-step specimens and beyond into the multi-thousand-dollar territory for the finest, most pristine survivors. The subtle variations, like the doubled dies and repunched mint marks, add further intrigue, creating treasures hidden in plain sight. It is a world where a coin with a face value of 5 cents can command a significant four-figure sum, provided it is authenticated and graded by the experts. This is the enduring appeal of numismatics, the knowledge that history, rarity, and quality can converge in a small, unassuming metal disc. Next coin. The 1954 Jefferson nickel presents one of the most compelling paradoxes in American numismatics. A coin struck by the tens of millions that can, in its finest surviving examples, command the attention of the most discerning collectors and reach values that rival far older and more historically renowned rarities. The year itself, 1954, was a time of post-war prosperity and quiet confidence in America, a period when the humble 5-cent piece was a daily fixture in commerce, used for bus fares, telephone calls, and the simple transactions that defined everyday life. Yet within this sea of common currency lies a story of striking inconsistencies, challenging production, and the relentless pursuit of perfection that defines the modern coin collecting hobby. What separates a pocket-worn specimen from a certified treasure is a complex tapestry woven from minting anomalies, survival rates, and a single, highly demanding design element that has become the holy grail for Jefferson nickel enthusiasts. As we delve deeper into the world of the 1954 nickel, we will uncover the precise factors that can elevate a coin from a face-value keepsake to a highly coveted piece of American history, commanding sums that are a staggering multiple of its original purpose. The 1954 Jefferson nickel was struck at all three active United States mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, a production strategy that resulted in a total mintage of nearly 194 million coins. The Philadelphia Mint, which struck over 47 million, produced the highest number of business strikes and also all of the proof coins for the year. The Denver Mint, however, far outpaced the others, producing a colossal 117,183,060 nickels, making it the most common by sheer numbers. The San Francisco Mint, with a mintage of just over 29 million, produced the lowest number of business strikes, establishing a foundation of relative scarcity for the S mint mark within the series. This disparity in mintages is the first clue in the numismatic puzzle, but as any seasoned collector knows, total mintage is often just the starting point. The true measure of a coin's rarity is found in the delicate balance between how many were made and how many have survived in a condition worthy of a serious collection. The design, a classic left-facing profile of Thomas Jefferson created by the German-born sculptor Felix Schlag, is familiar to anyone who has handled American coinage. The obverse features the motto "In God We Trust" on the left and "Liberty" on the right, with the date positioned prominently below the president's bust. The reverse is anchored by a detailed depiction of Jefferson's beloved Virginia estate, Monticello, encircled by the inscriptions United States of America, EPLUBUSUNUM, and 5 cents. However, it is the depiction of the steps leading up to Monticello that has become the defining battleground for a coin's aesthetic and monetary value. The full steps designation, a demanding technical achievement, requires that the horizontal lines on the building's portico be fully visible and unbroken. This was notoriously difficult to achieve consistently at the Denver Mint in 1954, where the striking pressure was often insufficient to bring up these minute details sharply. This known strike weakness is the primary reason why a 1954 D nickel in pristine, full steps condition is a scarcity of the highest order, a fact that dramatically shapes its value proposition. The market value of a 1954 nickel is therefore a story of stratification based on condition and strike quality. A heavily circulated 1954 Philadelphia nickel might trade for just a few cents above its face value, while a Mint State 66 example from the same mint is a far more desirable piece. But the real magic happens with the full steps designation. For the 1954 D, the challenge is particularly acute. The PCGS population reports indicate that while an example in Mint State 65 is relatively obtainable, the number of coins that manage to reach MS 66 with a fully detailed Monticello is incredibly small, with a scarcity that forces prices upward into the thousands of dollars. Professional numismatists note that the 1954D is truly scarce in MS66 with full steps and will command a strong premium, with values ranging up to approximately $9,600 for the very finest certified examples. This is a potent example of how a coin's value is not just about its age, but about the quality of its production and the demands of the market. The San Francisco Mint's offering, the 1954S, introduces yet another layer of nuance. With its lower mintage, it is the most scarce of the three business strike issues, and this is reflected in its collector value. While a circulated 1954S can still be purchased for a modest sum, an uncirculated example is far more prized. The extreme rarity of the 1954S with the full steps designation cannot be overstated, with some sources reporting that only a couple of dozen examples have ever been graded. This extreme scarcity places the highest graded examples in a league of their own, with auction records showing that a pristine MS66 example can realize over $7,400. It's a value that is directly fueled by the coin's near-perfect condition and its relative rarity, a sought-after piece for any collector building a complete set of the series by date and mint mark. Beyond the standard business strikes, the 1954 nickel series is further distinguished by its proof issues and intriguing die varieties. The Philadelphia Mint produced 233,300 proof coins, intended explicitly for collectors and struck with specially prepared dies and polished planchets to create a mirror-like finish. These proofs are highly collectible, with a PF69 cameo example garnering bids in the hundreds of dollars. More importantly, the 1954S is known to have a significant overmintmark variety, the S/D, FS501, where a die intended for Denver was repunched with an S for San Francisco. A certified example of this variety in MS66 Plus is a highly coveted piece, listed for sale at approximately $4,500, a testament to the power of a documented mint era to amplify collector demand and value. These varieties add excitement and complexity to the series, giving specialists a specific and rare target to pursue. The journey of a 1954 nickel from a pocket change item to a certified treasure is inextricably linked to the practice of third-party grading. The human eye can only do so much. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC use standardized scales and expert analysis to assign a definitive grade and identify specific designations like full steps. A coin's value is not final until it is encapsulated in a tamper-evident holder with its grade and certification number, guaranteeing its authenticity and condition to the buyer and seller. For a collector, submitting a potentially high-grade 1954D or 1954S is a crucial step in realizing its true market value. The market demands this certainty, and the difference in price between a raw, ungraded coin and a certified high-grade example from a reputable service can be enormous. Ultimately, the story of the 1954 Jefferson nickel is a masterclass in the nuances of modern numismatics. It demonstrates that even in an era of mass production, a confluence of factors, a challenging strike quality, a low survival rate in pristine condition, and the relentless scrutiny of professional graders, can transform an ordinary coin into an object of significant value. The premium commanded by full steps examples and the allure of documented varieties like the S/D mint mark ensure that this seemingly humble nickel is far from forgotten. It stands as a rewarding challenge for the collector, a coin that demands knowledge, patience, and an eye for quality, promising a tangible connection to mid-century America and the potential for a substantial return on that careful investment. Next up, look closely at a 1959 Jefferson nickel, and you are staring at a coin that represents the absolute peak of mid-century American production, a moment when the nation was confident, prosperous, and minting coins by the hundreds of millions. Yet within this sea of common currency lies one of the most fascinating puzzles in modern numismatics, a puzzle that has driven collectors to scrutinize these coins with the intensity of forensic scientists. At first glance, it appears to be nothing more than a standard, well-worn piece of pocket change, a relic from an era of sock hops and space race fever. But the story of the 1959 nickel is a testament to the fact that in the world of coin collecting, the most significant details are often the ones invisible to the untrained eye. It is a coin where the difference between a face-value keepsake and a highly sought-after treasure is determined by the most minuscule of factors, a pursuit of perfection that takes us deep into the manufacturing processes of the United States Mint. As we embark on this investigation together, we will uncover the hidden indicators that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary, and we will discover exactly what makes certain certified examples of this coin so desirable to the dedicated collector. To understand the 1959 nickel, we must first set the stage at the three major minting facilities that brought it into existence. The Philadelphia Mint, which struck over 27 million business strike examples, and the Denver Mint, with a massive output exceeding 160 million, were responsible for the vast majority of coins intended for everyday commerce. The San Francisco Mint, in a significant departure, did not produce any business strike nickels for circulation in 1959, making the coin available only from Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia coins bear no mint mark, while the Denver coins proudly display a small D on the reverse, a critical piece of information for any numismatist. This difference in mintage numbers is the first clue, suggesting that while both are common in circulated condition, the availability of pristine, high-grade examples begins to diverge dramatically based on which press they were struck on, and more importantly, the quality of the strike they received from that press. The sheer volume of production from Denver, in particular, created a scenario where quality control was often compromised. The design of the coin, created by the artist Felix Schlag, is an iconic piece of American iconography, featuring a stoic left-facing profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his beloved Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" frame the president's bust, while the reverse bears the names of the nation and the denomination, surrounding the detailed representation of the historic estate. But for the serious collector, the true battleground is the depiction of the 5 horizontal steps leading up to the portico of Monticello. This seemingly minor architectural detail has become the single most important factor in determining the value of a modern nickel. A coin that exhibits a complete, sharp, and uninterrupted series of lines across these steps is designated with the coveted full steps (FS) designation. Achieving this requires a perfect, high-pressure strike from freshly prepared dies, and in 1959, it was a standard that was met with surprising inconsistency. This is where the investigation truly begins. The Denver Mint, in particular, struggled with this element in 1959. The high-speed production, and in some cases, worn or agging dies, resulted in a large percentage of 1959D nickels exhibiting a mushy, indistinct strike on the Monticello steps. This has led professional graders and numismatic researchers to note that while the 1959D is a very common coin overall, examples that are well struck with full steps are significantly scarcer. The hunt for a 1959D nickel with a sharp strike and good surfaces is a classic exercise in cherry-picking, the art of finding valuable coins hidden among common ones. A coin that a casual observer would dismiss as just another nickel can, upon closer inspection, reveal the crisp detail that makes it a worthy specimen. This scarcity at the top of the grading scale is what fuels the collector demand and directly impacts the market value, turning a $10 coin into one that demands a significant premium. The Philadelphia Mint's production, while also large, has its own specific population dynamics. While an MS-66 example is considered a significant find, the elite tier is represented by the MS-67 grade with full steps, where it is believed that less than a handful are known to exist. This extreme rarity is what propels the value of the finest examples. These are coins that have not only survived in flawless condition for over 6 decades, but were also struck with the perfect mechanical harmony to bring up the steps in their entirety. The value for such a coin can range from the upper hundreds to well into the thousands of dollars, with a certified MS-66 full steps example being a centerpiece of any advanced Jefferson nickel collection. It is a powerful illustration of the principle that a coin's rarity is not just determined by how many were made, but by how many were made well. Of course, no numismatic investigation would be complete without examining the proof issues. The Philadelphia Mint also produced a proof version of the 1959 nickel, with a mintage of over 1.1 million, specifically for collectors. These coins were struck with a special process using polished planchets and specially prepared dies to create a mirror-like finish and sharp, frosted details. A 1959 proof nickel in a near-perfect grade, like PF69, with its stunning visual cameo contrast, is a work of art, and its certified population is a small fraction of the total mintage. These proof coins represent the pinnacle of the mint's craftsmanship for the year and are highly collectible in their own right, offering a different but equally compelling path to numismatic value. This brings us to the critical intersection of authentication and value. The market for high-grade 1959 nickels, particularly those with the full steps designation, is a market built on trust. Third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC are the gatekeepers of this trust. They provide the professional, unbiased analysis that confirms a coin's grade, its strike characteristics, and its authenticity. The price difference between a raw, ungraded coin and a certified example in a tamper-evident holder is substantial. For example, a 1959 D nickel certified as MS-66 full steps by NGC, with a population of only a handful of coins at that specific grade level, has realized nearly $4,000 at auction. These certified values are not just numbers. They are a direct result of the collector's demand for certainty and the extreme rarity of the coin. Ultimately, the story of the 1959 Jefferson nickel is a powerful reminder that true numismatic value is a story of nuance, a tale told by the smallest of details. It is a coin that challenges us to look beyond the date and the mint mark, to train our eyes on the quality of the strike, the preservation of the surfaces, and the integrity of the design. For the collector, it is a test of knowledge and patience, a hunt for the perfect combination of condition and production quality that, when found, connects them to a specific moment in American history. It is a testament to the enduring appeal of the chase, the pursuit of the coin that defied the odds of mass production to emerge near perfect. The value is determined not by a single factor, but by a confluence of rarity, demand, and the unshakable proof provided by certification, turning a humble 5-cent piece into a legacy item for the collector who finds it. Last coin. Consider the 1964 Jefferson nickel, a coin struck in numbers so vast they defy comprehension, yet possessing a secret that has captivated the numismatic world for decades. It is a coin that almost everyone has seen, a piece of pocket change that passes through countless hands without a second glance. But hidden within this sea of over a billion identical-looking pieces are stories of extreme rarity, monumental errors, and a national crisis that fundamentally reshaped American coinage. The 1964 nickel represents a fascinating paradox, a coin that is both incredibly common and, in its finest, most pristine forms, almost impossibly scarce. As we investigate this intriguing issue, we will uncover the economic turmoil that led to its massive production, the subtle details that transform a nickel from face value to a four-figure prize, and the mysterious, ultra-rare specimens that have left collectors and experts puzzled for decades. To truly understand the 1964 nickel, we must first travel back to the economic climate of the early 1960s, a time of unprecedented growth and a corresponding, crippling coin shortage. The expanding economy, coupled with the explosion of coin-operated vending machines, meant that coins were disappearing from circulation as quickly as they were produced. The Federal Reserve was forced to ration coins, and a July 1964 document from the St. Louis Fed painted a desperate picture. Inventories have fallen to the point where the reserve banks have been unable to deliver coins on request. In response, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed legislation on September 3, 1964, authorizing the mint to continue striking coins dated 1964 well into the following year. This unprecedented date freeze was a strategic move to strip the coins of any perceived numismatic rarity, thereby discouraging hoarding. The result was a production frenzy that led to the staggering mintage figures that define this year. The sheer scale of production is the first clue in our investigation. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 1,028,622,762 business strike nickels, while the Denver Mint churned out an even more astronomical 1,787,297,160. To put this in perspective, the 1964 D nickel has the highest mintage of any nickel ever struck by the U.S. Mint. This was also the first year in which the Mint struck over 1 billion nickels for a single date. With such massive numbers, one would assume that high-grade examples are plentiful. Yet, this is where the paradox deepens. The frantic pace of production, the use of worn dies, and the sheer volume of coins being handled meant that quality control often took a backseat to quantity. The Denver Mint, in particular, was notorious for producing poorly struck coins during this era. This combination of factors makes the 1964 D. Jefferson nickel one of the toughest dates in the entire series to find in high, pristine grades. This brings us to the most critical factor that separates a common coin from a collector's treasure: the full steps designation. On the reverse of the nickel is a depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home. The steps leading up to the portico are the focal point of intense scrutiny. To earn the coveted full steps (FS) designation, a coin must display at least 5 distinct, uninterrupted, and sharply defined horizontal lines across the entire structure. This is a demanding standard that requires a perfect, high-pressure strike from freshly prepared dies. For the 1964 D nickel, achieving this is exceptionally difficult. PCGS has only graded about 35 examples in MS66, with none higher, and with the full steps designation, it is considered even scarcer, with approximately only 5 known examples in MS66 full steps. This extreme scarcity is the engine that drives collector value. The value of a 1964 nickel is, therefore, a study in extremes. The vast majority of circulated examples are worth only their face value, and even average uncirculated pieces can be purchased for a few dollars. But a coin with the full steps designation enters a different realm entirely. A 1964 D nickel with full steps in MS65 can sell for between $150 and $500, but as the grade climbs, so does the price exponentially. A specimen graded MS67 FS can reach between $2,000 and $5,000. The market has proven its appetite for these rarities, with a 1964 D FS nickel graded MS66 selling for $6,000 in 2021, and a 1964 FS nickel in MS67 realizing an astonishing $14,100 in 2014. These figures illustrate the powerful premium that collectors place on the combination of an impeccable strike and flawless preservation. But the mystery of the 1964 Jefferson nickel extends even further into the realm of the unknown, with the existence of the special strike SMS coins. In 1964, the mint apparently struck a very limited number of special strike coins, also referred to as special mint sets. It is believed that only about a couple dozen sets were ever produced, making them incredibly rare. To this day, it remains a complete mystery as to why these coins were produced. Some theories suggest they were prototypes for the SMS coins struck from 1965 to 1967, while others believe they were somehow connected to the production of the never-released 1964 D piece dollars. What is known is that these coins have a unique, satin-like finish, sharp square rims, and are exceptionally well struck. They are not business strikes nor proofs, possessing a quality all their own. Their existence was entirely unknown until they appeared in a Stax auction in 1993, and it is believed they originated from the estate of Eva Adams, who was the director of the U.S. Mint from 1961 to 1969. With their extreme rarity and fascinating origin story, these SMS nickels have easily crossed the five-figure threshold in recent years, making them the holy grail for advanced collectors. For those new to the hobby, the hunt for a valuable 1964 nickel is an exercise in patience and sharp observation. It requires a good magnifying glass and knowledge of what to look for. The full steps designation is the primary target, and examining the Monticello steps for complete, unbroken detail is the key. A 1964 D nickel, with its poor strike quality, is the prime candidate for cherry-picking, as a well-struck example could be lurking in a roll of ordinary coins. If a collector believes they have found a coin that meets the standard in a high-grade, professional authentication and grading by PCGS or NGC is essential to certify its condition and realize its true market value. This process is the only way to transform a potential treasure from a what-if into a guaranteed, investment-grade asset. Ultimately, the 1964 Jefferson nickel stands as a monumental chapter in American numismatic history, a coin born from a national crisis that redefined the very nature of the hobby. It is a coin of incredible contradictions, struck in the billions yet notoriously scarce in high quality, a common sight in change, yet capable of commanding a five-figure sum. Whether it is the relentless pursuit of a full steps example or the hunt for one of the ultra-mysterious SMS coins, the 1964 nickel offers a challenge for every level of collector. Its true value lies not just in the metal it contains, but in the story it tells, a tale of economic pressure, remarkable production, and the enduring human desire to find perfection in the most unexpected places. This is the legacy of the 1964 nickel, a coin that proves even in the most common of issues, there are rarefied specimens that can change a collector's fortunes.